Om Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvabhignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhirbhavatu me sada Yenakshara samamnayam Adhigamya maheshwarat Kritsnam Vyakaranam Proktam Tasmai Paninaye Namaha Vakyakaram Vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam Vagarthaviva Samprikto Vagarthaf Pratipattaye Jagataf Pitarau Vande Parvati Parameshwarau Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Namaste, welcome. So we have been looking at idam and Adas-śabdha. So you can open up your book. So while you're opening up, that's page 120. Adas, idam is 118, 119. Okay, so right around there. So you'll see Adas on the screen there. So this is what we were looking at in our last class. We were looking at Adas-śabdha in masculine, neuter, and feminine. So what we're going to do is we're going to, we'll chant all three. Well, we'll chant the two that we've learned, and then we'll learn the feminine form. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So what we've been doing so far is we've seen Adas in masculine and neuter. So Adas is a sarva-nama shabda, right? It is a pronoun. And so it means that. And as we saw, here's the order of the shabda that we've seen so far. So etad is something that's closest to the speaker. Idam is a little bit farther away. Then adas, which is something which is in the distance, but still seen by the speaker. And then tat, which is something farther away, which is usually unseen by the speaker. Okay, so we can chant this Adas-śabdha in masculine or Pullinga together. Okay, we'll go slowly. Asau, amu, ami. Amum, amu, amun. Amuna, amubhyam, amibhi. Amushmai, amubhyam, amibhyah. 5-1. Amushmat, amubhyam, amibhyah. 6-1. Amushya, amuyoho, amisham. Amushmin, amuyoho, amishu. Okay, so we're just remembering this as we saw in our last class. And so, and Napumsaka is very similar to this. The only difference is these two forms, these two cases rather. Okay, so this is Adas in Napumsaka Linga. We see Adaha, Amu, Amuni. Adaha, Amu, amuni. Okay, so chant it two more times together. Chant it 2 more times on your own, rather. The second time, close your eyes. Amuni. Okay. Then from third case onwards, it's all the same. Amuna, amubhyam, amibihi. Amushmai, amubhyam, amibhyah. Amushmat, amubhyam, amibhyah. Sixth case. Amushya, amuyoho, amisham. Amushmin, amuyoho, amishu. Okay. So hopefully that time was a little bit better than the first time. I know coming right into class, starting with Adas-śabdha is not the easiest. So coming right into class, trying to remember this, we have to just repeat it a few times for those neurons to fire again. Okay. And so today we'll look at this feminine form. So again, you can find this in your book around page 120. Okay. So you can repeat after each line after me. Aso, amu, amuhu. Aso, amu, amuhu. Second case. Amum, amu, amuhu. Amum, amu, amuhu. Second case still. It's like we're cows, moo. Third case. Amuya, amubhyam, amubihi. Amuya, amubhyam, amubihi. Fourth case. Amushyai, amubhyam, amubhyaha. Amushyai, amubhyam, amubhyaha. Amushyaha, amubhyam, amubhyaha. Fifth case, one more time. Amushyaha, amubhyam, amubhyaha. Sixth case. Amushyaha, amuyoho, amusham. One more time. Amushyaha, amuyoho, amusham. Amushyam, amuyoho, amushu. One more time. Amushyam, amuyoho, amushu. Okay. This one, first of all, we have to remember feminine patterns, and then this one will kick in. So what we'll do is we'll just chant the whole thing together, and then we'll look at some exercises. And during the exercises, we'll practice a little bit more. Okay. So say with me. Aso, amu, amuhu. Amubhya, Amubhyam, Amubhihi. Fourth case. Amushyai, Amubhyam, Amubhyaha. Fifth case. Amushyaha, Amubhyam, Amubhyaha. Sixth case. Amushyaha, Amuyoho, Amusham. Seventh case. Amushyam, Amuyoho, Amushu. Okay. What you can do is you can open up the back of your book. This exercise, that's number 33. I believe that's on page 182, maybe on 183. Okay, so keep that other page, keep 120 something there so you can refer to it. Keep 120 also in your hand so you can refer to it and you can go back and forth so that you can review them. Okay. So now you can see number 1. Purushaha. Oh, sorry. We need to look at only the feminine, right? So we're going to look at number 13. Akhyayika bhavati. Akhyayika bhavati. Okay. So this is pretty straightforward. This is the same as masculine 1-1. This is the same as masculine 1-1. Aso, right? Aso. So aso akhyayika bhavati. That is a akhyayika story, or that story is. Okay. So let's do the first case. Aso, amu, amuhu. Okay. Aso, amu, amuhu. So if we want to do, let's say, akhyayika, right? So it would just be like, if we want to do like Ganga-śabdha, so Ganga, Gange, Gangaha. So akhyayika, akhyayike, akhyayikaha. Gange, Ganga, Gange, Gangaha. Right? Okay, so if we want to say, now, akhyayike. So 1, 2. So if it's 1, 2, what is the form of adas? Amu. So amu akhyayike bhavataha. Right? Because you gotta change the verb too. So now akhyayikaha. 1, 3. So then ami akhyayikaha bhavanti. Sorry, not bhavanti. We can still keep, oh yeah, bhavanti. Yeah, we can keep it bhavanti. Sorry, that's right. Akhyayikaha. So ami akhyayika. Akhyayikaha bhavanti. So we're doing 1. Oh, sorry, amuhu. Sorry, yeah. Amuhu. I was thinking masculine. Amuhu. Amuhu akhyayikaha bhavanti. Thanks for the correction. Okay, so let's look at the next one on here. It says, oh, devataha bhavanti. There's another example. devataha bhavanti. So 1, 3 feminine. Amuhu devataha bhavanti. Okay. So that first case we should get solid. So, amu, amuhu. So, amu, amuhu. Okay. Let's say it's akyaikam. Then 2, 1. Amum. Akyaike. Amu. Akyaikaha. Amuhu. So amuhu, akyaikaha. We can say either bhavati or bhavanti. We don't know that. We don't know the karta then, because we're in the second case. Okay, so let's just chant the rest of them one more time. In fact, really, these ones are the most important, right? Because you're going to see this more commonly. So, aso, amu, amuhu, amum, amu, amuhu, amuya, amubhyam, amubhihi. 4, 1. Amushye, amubhyam, amubhyaha. 5, 1. Amushyaha, amubhyam, amubhyaha. 6 case. Amushyaha, amuyoho, amusham. 7th case. Amushyam, amuyoho, amushu. Okay. So we're not going to spend too much time more on this. Does anybody have any questions before we move on? You can just put a question mark in the chat or put anything in the chat. I can unmute you. Okay. What we're going to do is we're actually going to switch over to our Sandhi book. So if you can grab your Sandhi book. And in your Sandhi book, if you look in the index, you'll see something called jaśtvam. Okay, now there's 2 jaśtvams in the book. So if you're looking at the book and you're looking at the index, I'll show you. My page numbers are slightly different. So, oh, you can't, I don't know if you can see that. But I have jaśtvam number 4 jaśtvam. Okay, there's also one number 13 jaśtvam, but find the number 4 jaśtvam. So that's on my page 71. So round 71. Okay, we're in topic 6, consonant sandhi, jaśtvam. Okay, so for many of you, it might be page 65. So this sandhi, we have to it's quite complex. So we're going to try to make it simple and see the main point where it's going to be relevant. Okay. When we see this jaśtvam-sandhiḥ, I'll show you where it's most useful. Okay. All right. So if you see Rama-śabdha, jaśtvam is the sandhi for this fifth case. So you notice how there's two forms for Rama, Ramat or Ramad. Okay. The reason there's two forms is because of jaśtvam-sandhiḥ. So you might have noticed that for a lot of the declensions, right? For tad, we have tasmat or tasmad. I just went through the first ones in the book. For jnanam, we have jnanat or jnanad for fifth case. Etasmat or etasmad, right? Or even idam, when we're looking at idam, asmat or asmad. Okay, so basically that da becoming a da, why does that happen? Okay, so this is what jaśtvam-sandhiḥ is useful for. All right, let me pull this up. Now, the rule itself is a bit, so I'll show you the rule first as it is, and then I'll show you the simplified version, okay? So I hope that makes sense. So don't get too scared, first of all. So at the end of a pada, jal is replaced by jash, okay? That's it. So at the end of a pada, so at the end of a word, either subanta or tinganta, when there's a jal, that jal will get replaced by jash. Okay, now what is jal and what is jash? So we have our Maheshwara Sutra. Let's chant the whole thing first. Om a I un rilik e ong I ouch hayavarata lan yama gananam jabhanya ghadadash jabagadadash kapha chatha chatatav kapai shashasar hal iti maheshwarani sutrani. Okay, at the end of a pada, jal becomes jash. So we define jal. You see, Mahaprana jha is in the fourth of the class. Jha, lal, jal. So all of these letters are considered jal. So what you can write, it says jal, right? Next to it, you can write fourth of the class to first of the class plus sibilants. 4-1 plus sibilants. That is jal. What is jash? Jash is just jabagadadash. Third of the class, right here. Jabagadadash. Okay, you have to say it like the Damaru, like Lord Shiva's Damaru. Jabagadadash. Jabagadadash. So any of these fourth to the sibilants becomes jabagadadash when at the end of a pada. When jash is at the end of a pada, it gets replaced by jash. So Now, how do you know what replaces what? Okay. This is where the alphabet chart will also be useful. Okay, this is also in your Sandhi book at the beginning of the book. So when we say jal, jal includes basically all of the consonants except for the nasals and semivowel and ha. Okay, so most of the consonants except for the nasals and the semivowels plus hakara. Sorry, ha is included because you get it here. So, okay. Now, when this happens, okay. So any of these, or really any of these, except for the nasals, become jabagaradash. How do you know what becomes what? Now it goes in order, right? If it's ka or ka, it's going to be ga. If ka or ka is at the end of a pada, then it's going to be replaced by whatever is in the third of the class, ga. Because those are all in the same point in your throat. See how precise the language is. If you have cha or cha at the end of a word, then it's going to be replaced by ja. If you have ta or ta at the end of a word, it's going to be replaced by da. If you have ta or ta at the end of the word, it's going to be replaced by da. Pa or pa at the end of the word, it's going to be replaced by ba. Okay, so that's part one of the rule. And part one of the rule is any hard consonant will become soft. Alpa prana soft. Okay, so let's write that down. Okay, so any of those hard consonants will become soft. What is you? You'll see those hard consonants are the ones in the first two columns. Ka ka, cha cha, etc. Ta ta, ta ta, pa pa. Right, those are all your hard consonants. They become the alpa prana, the non-aspirate version. Oops. Of the soft consonant. Okay, now sorry, I just wanted to check the time. Now, the only other thing left is if it's already a soft consonant, it will become alpa prana. Right? If it's already a soft consonant and it's mahaprana, then it'll become alpa prana. So ga is at the end of the word, it's going to become ga. If ja, then ja. If da is at the end of the word, then da. Okay, it just becomes alpa prana. It just becomes a little less air. Okay. All right. Basically, this rule is to make things soft. So it becomes jabagadadash. Jabagadadash is what. But really, where this becomes practical for us right now is just this much. Tha becomes the. Okay, so if you didn't get anything so far, what we really need to know is tha at the end of a pada becomes da. So if you have ramat at the end of a word, sorry, at the end of the, yeah, if you have ramat at the end, right? So ramat is going to become ramad. That's really what we need to do. Ramat can become ramad. And that's why in 5-1, in most of those masculine forms, you'll see those two forms. Now, why? And there's another rule that we are going to see, but we don't need to go into that rule. And basically what it'll say is this is optional. Okay, that this is optional. Yeah, really it says this is optional. Okay, sibilant, does it change? So the question in the chat, does it change if it's a sibilant? So does jal include sibilants? Yeah, so sibilants will change also. It just doesn't happen as much, so that's why I didn't point it out. But the sibilants will change as well because they are hard, right? They're hard. And what they'll do is they'll go to the third. And this hakara will also become gakara. So just to see where this happens quickly, let's just look at 1, 5, 9 right now. So marut, we haven't seen Adas-śabdha, but we know marut 1, 1 can become, it's takara ending, right? The pada ends with takara. It can be soft. So marut or marud. Number 5, samid. Dhakara will become dakara, samid. Jaba garda dash, da. Ach, number 9. Ach is hard, so become Jaba Garda Dash, right? So if you look at for Ach, Aj, right? So you'll see sometimes Ajanta, that which ends with Ach. Okay, our time is up. What we'll do is we'll continue just to see where this is, to see this a little bit more in the next class. But the real point here is that why there's 2 cases in the 5th, or why there's 2 options for the 5th case is because of this rule, jaśtvam, which makes the ta, when at the end of a pada, it becomes dakara. Okay, all right. So I'll take some questions in the break. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Haditi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Haditi Om. So we'll start again at 8:11. Hariprasad ji, did you still have a question there? If you do, you can unmute yourself.
So I did not follow you a little bit. Now, you said the end of a pada. So are we talking about a end of a pratipadika?
So when it's at the end of a word.
End of a word means what?
Yeah. So when we have, that's correct. Right. So when we're thinking of, so for example, here we have marut, right? We haven't seen marut yet, but marut, and then we add the 1-1, the subanta.
Correct. Correct.
So then this pratipadika is marut. So now that pada is finished. It's marut. Like a ramat. Ramat is already declined.
How does marut shematam? How is marut plus it becomes marut?
Yeah, so we'll see that. Basically, it comes and then it goes. It comes, gives the status of anga, but then it goes away, and then the final form is marut. But it's still a pada. It's still subanta. It still technically was blessed by that.
But is it not aha? I mean, the first person singular is aha in masculine.
Correct. So, but this one is marut-śabdha is different than rama-śabdha, or any of that we learned. So we'll see this pretty soon. But marut is completely different than what we've seen before.
I will study this. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll study this.
Yeah.
There's one more question about why did I refer to alpa prana and maha prana? Yeah, so because, right, technically the rule is any jal becomes jash. Now, jal includes these, right? Jal includes these. Now, so if it's one of these, it's already soft. Basically, it becomes the alpa prana version of it. So ja becomes ja, bha becomes ba, gha becomes ga, da becomes da, dha becomes da. It becomes the alpa prana version. Okay. All right. Start up in a few minutes.